Hello, everyone, and welcome to New Trials, the podcast. I'm Preya.
And I'm Melanie.
The New Trials of Cardcaptor Sakura, Sharon, and Friends is a popular ongoing fanfic by Wishlove, and it's based off of Clamp's Cardcaptor Sakura. Usually we do a deep dive of a new chapter, but we are in hiatus mode, and we are slowly going through Diana's wonderful YouTube comments that make us so happy and makes this hiatus a lot of fun. Just a mini episode today. I figured that if we were going to go for the whole Arc 2 stretch, it might be as long as the last one. So we're going to focus on 31, 32, and 33, and then the next time we record it'll be 34, 35, 36 with the Takashi and Chiharu special in between. So to kick things off, we're going to start with Chapter 31, Unraveled Secrets. Go for it.
This is the audiobook. The Tokyo Saga! This chapter is so memorable to me. I'm pretty sure I first read this chapter when I was spending the day with my dad at his job. I remember being so hooked to this chapter because the amount of drama and lore was just so ingenious to me. I have never considered Fujata having a backstory beyond being Clow Reed's reincarnation. I ate that thing up when I was 13. Now, 13 years later, I'm wondering if we'll get Iroh's backstory. Because if Fujata can have one, so can Iroh. For some reason, I always felt he's an orphan.
I don't know. It's like Ariel gives the kind of vibe that he must have raised himself. But like he did have Ruby Moon, he did have Spinel's son, but there's never any, like, even Yukito has like those grandparents that were they even like, I forgot the twist. It's like, did he even have grandparents, or did he just think he had grandparents?
I think they were just made up. I don't think they were actual real people. But then how did he live at that shrine though? You know, so there are some plot holes there for sure. I don't know. I always kind of got a grandpa vibe from him. I always pictured he was like raised by like a grandfather figure that then like passed away, obviously, and then kind of left Iroh his fortune. And then, but I don't know where maybe Spinel's son, like to the grandpa, looked like a cat, and Ruby Moon maybe was like another like a cousin that maybe grandpa was raising as well or something. But yeah, that is interesting. I'd want to hear the rest of that for sure. 180 degrees. I cracked up when Shaoran used his credit card and hoped his mother wouldn't be bothered by this. Boy, you know she's going to be shocked at the expense. Also, did anyone notice how Wish-chan made their room 603?
Yes, she did that on purpose.
Yes, and she answered that in our first Q&A, didn't she?
Yeah, that's the room number of the crush.
Yes. One of my favorite scenes in all of New Trials is when Sakura finds out that Tomeo was going to meet her father for the first time in many years. You did a great job of portraying Tomeo's emotions and doubts. Thank you. And when she and her father finally meet, gets me every time. I think I've pointed this before, but there really are some parallels between Tomeo and Clow Reed. Makes me wonder if Clow Reed had a similar but failed reunion with his mother back in the day. Interesting. Lastly, that confrontation between Fujata and Fujika, I love it. Thank you for sharing. Happy holidays.
Clow Reed and Tomoyo. I really like the idea of the parallels between Tomoyo and Clow Reed.
Yeah, it's definitely something I've never thought of, and I feel like that might be a way to kind of connect Tomeo and Iroh together too, you know, and make it make more sense. I love it.
Okay, moving on to the podcast for Unraveled Secrets. Family drama. There were things in which I was sheltered, but as the eldest daughter, you end up being aware of drama whether you want to know about it or not. Of course, the drama is not limited to current drama. Sometimes I'll learn about family drama from way back in the day that is never clear whether or not it was ever resolved. Yep. Cosign. It's like, it's messy.
Cue a conversation Preya and I were literally just having before we started recording this.
I agree with Priya. Tomoyo and Daijuji-san's reunion has been one of your best work yet. Kudos to you, Melanie.
Aw, thank you so much.
LMAO at Toya taking forever to call Sakura. I also forgot that Asuma was in this chapter. Yeah, that's funny. It's like, where were you? It's like, how come I can't get a hold of you? I've been calling home for so long. Well, try the other number. Yo, I definitely didn't make the connection between the Kinemoto siblings and the Dumbledore siblings. Lol at J.K. Rowling stealing the idea from Wish-chan. I've only ever made the connection between the Kinemoto family and the Reed family, who remind me a little of Wuthering Heights.
Oh, 100%.
I think I once made a post about it, but I could definitely make another one. Anyway, who would have thought that the Kinemoto family drama didn't stop in Arc 2? Oh. So excited for future chapters.
Again, designs and crime. Very much looking forward to it.
I am very much looking forward to that too. And then the Nina of it all. I can't wait.
We'll get there, but that has to be one of my favorite twists of all time in this story.
Yeah, seriously. It's like, that's not your sister. That's not your niece. That's your sister. What? Oh, the jokes we're going to make about that.
Oh, man. Look forward, guys. Look forward.
Okay. Now we're moving on to Chapter 32, Believe Me When the Sun Rises.
The sound effects for this chapter added years to my life. Oh, Diana. Melted my words of affirmation heart. You know, listening to Shadon fight the Phantom made me think of something. This is the first time this has crossed my mind. Do you think that the Phantom had any control over the Dark Ones back in the day? We know Risa was affected by the despair, and Ryuichi by the wrath, but could they have had a situation similar to Tomeo in Arc 3? I know the flaw in this would be that the Dark Ones now have control over the Phantom, but what if they didn't back in the day?
I'm wondering, because it's like when the Great Five was around, and we know that the wrath was definitely out there. But, like, how many dark forces were there? And how did the dark forces come to be? I'm trying to, like, because we know about the legacy of the Great Five and stuff like that, but it's like that whole chapter is who they were, how they came to be, how they formed their little, like, their alliance and brotherhood, but what were the forces doing?
I don't know if it's a theory, but to me, like, I think their original dark, like Ryuichi and Risa's power, I feel like was the power of light and dark. And then I do agree that I think something must have happened to affect Risa to make her do what she did, and also get Ryuichi to react the way he did. So I do think there is some type of element there that made things happen. I do feel like probably they were possessed. That's kind of how I feel too. But whether or not it was the Phantom or the big bad that maybe we'll meet in the finale, we'll see. But yeah, I do think something did happen to them, but I don't necessarily think it was the Phantom.
Yeah, because, like, the Phantom is bad news. But, like, so is wrath, so is despair.
Yeah. I want to say it's probably an emotion of some sort that kind of encompasses all things. Or something to that regard. We will see, though. Because I feel like the Phantom was beat a little bit too easily by Sakura in order for it to be... And I feel like there would have been a much bigger scene if the Phantom would have been the catalyst for everything that happened.
Yeah.
But I do think maybe the Phantom could be a foreshadow of sorts of maybe what's going to eventually happen. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I've definitely never thought about before.
Deep dive podcast. Okay. I really liked reading about Sujata's past, his life, and his worries. Makes me wonder if his life is the life Clow Reed had longed for. Married with kids, exploring the world and meeting people, being loved and respected, sharing his knowledge, and having no association to his family name. And reading how his family reacted to his appearance made me briefly wonder if something similar happened with Landon and his family and how the Reeds ended up cursed.
Well, we know the story between Chloe Reed and his love, and the way that he, like, her name escapes me, but I feel like it's going to start with an M.
Yeah, it does start with an M. Diana's like, it's Diana!
Yeah, Diana's yelling at us.
Diana, what is it? Carolina probably is too. Carolina's probably like, you dummies, it's blah, blah, blah. Nico? Or no, or... Man. Anyways, thank you for screaming at us. Shoot, Mizuki... Mika? Mizuki
I think it's Mika. Yeah, it's probably Mika.
Because she's not, is she...
I'm going on Diana's DeviantArt right now, and I want to find her Mizuki family tree, and let's see if... Oh, it's not named.
I want to say it's Mizuki Mika.
Yeah, let's go with Mika, and then our listeners will tell us.
Comment down below.
But yes, no, we definitely know the story between Chloe and Mika, and how she was taken away from him, and how, like, he created cards to so that she can come back, and it was very heartbreaking, but there could never be another. Yeah. So definitely, I can definitely see Chloe wanting that kind of life where he's married with kids, and at the end of the day, he ended up alone. Like, sure, he had, like, Kiraberos and he had Yue, but he didn't have, like, love.
Mm-hmm. So true. Anyway, I love Kai and was rooting for him, but am I the only one who felt a bit bad for Daidoji-san in this chapter? The guy's just trying to do his job.
You know, Diana, you're not wrong, but we're all part of the Kaiju Magician fan club, so we're biased.
It's very, very true. This line made me laugh. As Sakura stuffed the delicious pasta into her mouth, she fumed. Ooh, I won't forgive the Kinemoto family. You wait and see. For the sake of the Kaido magician. She raised her fist heroically.
Oh, that's so Sakura.
Another part that made me laugh a lot was when SNS's first kiss didn't happen and Shaoran was talking to Kai without realizing it. I've been into Greek mythology, again, LOL, and Kai gave me Hermes vibes. I can see that.
I definitely see that.
Mischievous.
Yes.
Also, while we're on the subject, highly recommend the new Percy Jackson that's on Disney+. Highly recommend. Me, when Sakura was confronting her uncle and grandfather, boom, you go girl, tell him. And lastly, I wish I could insert the "it's happening" Michael Scott gif here. If you know, you know. Thank you for sharing.
We watched The Office not too long ago, and now I'm listening to the Office Ladies podcast, and I'm having fun with that. Okay, moving on to chapter 32, Believe Me When the Sun Rises. Podcast. This chapter is so special to me. I've probably shared this before, but I'll share it again. When I first started New Trials, I was surprised by the amount of chapters. I was new to the fanfiction world, and I was under the impression that fanfics were on the shorter side. I can't remember if New Trials was the first fanfic I read, or just one of the first. I have a bad habit of having one too many fics open at the same time, lol. Because New Trials had 65 chapters at that point in time, I had told myself that I would only read New Trials until Sakura and Sharon kissed. So when I finally reached chapter 32, I had told myself I could let go. I'm pretty sure I tried to stay away for a couple days. Of course, this was just torture because I couldn't stop thinking about NT. It was everywhere I went. I had known for a while that I really liked NT, but chapter 32 really solidified my love for the fic. I knew then that I loved New Trials for more than just it being a fic about Sakura and Sharon moments we never got to see. Mm-hmm. I realized I love how Sakura and company had developed, how the NT world worked, the switch from fluff to intense to dramatic to funny plot lines, and how much I didn't want to say goodbye to a story that just kept getting better and better and more intriguing and complex. Oh, you know what, Diana? I don't think I knew that story. So yeah. So thank you for sharing that with us. Can you imagine just reading until they kiss and like, well, that was fun.
Well, unrelated, but as you all might have picked up from our previous episodes, I am very much into Draco and Hermione fan fiction right now. And I am the queen of doing that when it comes to Draco and Hermione fan fiction. Like, I love the slow burn, and then as soon as they kiss or whatever, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. And then I just drop the fic. There's only been I have 3 really good ones that I really like. If any of you read Draco and Hermione, I can recommend them. But anyway, so that made me laugh when she's like, I'll just stop it once they kiss.
Because we all know that it's all downhill from there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, not our S&S. They like pretend that it didn't happen. Jeez. What is it with them? So NT may start with the prologue, but for me, chapter 32 is when you realize you're in deep with this fic, because one kiss is not enough. Amen 100%. To that. Back to the chapter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but is this the first time we learn about how the Mirror of Truth ending up with the Kinomoto family? Probably, because whatever Mirror of Truth stuff that we had before was like Miho's flashback, and then I think that Miara, she was really, really upset that Kai sold it. But I don't think we knew who he sold it to.
I was always under the impression it got stolen.
No, Miara, she was like in her, it was after Keisuke disappeared and Miara was sick and they had all the debts. And I think like McKay, he sold the mirror. And then Miara was like super upset, if I'm remembering correctly. But I don't think that it was revealed that it was the Kinomoto group that got the mirror.
Okay.
If I'm remembering correctly. I ask this as in the main storyline and not in KMO, because if so, I completely forgot it was mentioned this early in the story. Like, I don't even think younger me paid attention to this detail. Also, how did Sharon know how the Kinomotos got their hands on the mirror? I know he has an uncle who handles business and stuff, but how would this come up? I think it's because the Lee clan, they know that the Mirror of Truth is a 5-Force treasure, and the same thing as we've seen with the Sapphire Ring, where they know that it's in Shink's possession. They also know where the Mirror of Truth is as part of the records. It's part of their database that Sharon does have access to. Yeah. I guess their file on the diamond must have been like really tiny.
Yeah.
But I think like they're powerful enough to know, and especially like when the Mirror of Truth, like it went in display in Tokyo and Sakura and company went to see it. It's probably not the first time that it went on display, so it must have its like paper trail of its own.
Yeah.
But only like the Lee clan knows like what the mirror of truth actually is. So I think that's how Sharon was able to find out. Let's see. Like Melanie, I'm a little inclined to be cynical about how quickly Tomoyo and her father momentarily solved the phantom situation. Maybe the reason why their daughter-father relationship was able to get the phantom away from Daijuji-san is because they used to have a relationship and now have the intention to be back in each other's lives. However, I don't remember if Tomoyo ever spends or contacts her father after Arc 2. her conversation with Lei-yun in Chapter 72 leads me to think that Tomoyo and Daijuji-san still have a long way to go. Yeah, I don't blame Wish-chan for not picking up this storyline. Like, first of all, Daiju-san is based in Tokyo, so that's already far enough away from Tomoida. And if Tomoyo chooses to have contact with her father, it's like she hasn't really opened up about it before. It doesn't sound like she's going to keep on, like she's going to like open up about it now, especially that Sakura has her own like drama to worry about, and Tomoyo would rather be like the hype girl rather than to be the one to like call for attention.
I want to say a little bell was going off in my head that maybe he's mentioned at Sakura's birthday party in Arc 4 when they have it at the Tokyo Tower. Because I think it's like an off comment, I want to say, about how they were able to get the Tokyo Tower. And then I want to say Tomoyo says something along the lines of like, well, it helps when your dad is the chief of police or something like that. I don't know. I could be completely making that up in my head. But for some reason, that scene was kind of popping up in my head a little bit. But yeah, as someone that also has a very long road of having any type of relationship with a father figure, I could understand her not really wanting to go down that road.
Yeah. Anyway, I really wish I could post a GIF of my reaction to the scene between Sakura and Sharon. Diana, you can just post it on the Facebook post. If you know what GIF you're talking about, just post it on Facebook. We'll be happy to see. But we kind of have an idea because we all feel the same way.
I'm picturing excited Pikachu in my head.
Thank you for sharing. It's been a fun year listening to your podcast. See you, in parentheses, hear you, lol, next year. Happy New Year 2024. And finally, we're going to close off this episode with Chapter 33, Finding You.
Let's see. Sorry, mine were out of order. Okay, 33. Okay. I'm back. This is my first comment of the year. I missed new trials. So, the first thing that caught my attention was the Mizuki locket details. Wish-chan was dropping hints 20 years ago, and not just about Kai's true identity, and Sakura knew for so long. Okay, I always forgot the locket has dragon carvings on it. I don't know why I forget, since this points out just how early on we were getting hints to Ryuichi and Mayura potentially secret/not so secret relationship. Ryuichi, or Ryuichi, as Wish-chan spells it, means dragon or first son of the dragon.
That's so cool.
So not only does he give Mayura a locket, he puts part of the chain treasure ruby in it. And he puts dragons on the locket. Tell me you want a girl to remember you. Telling me you want a girl to remember you. I want to joke that Troy Bolton from High School Musical took a lesson from Ryuichi when he gifted Gabriella a necklace with the letter T.
oh, these boys. These boys.
Shake said, but all jokes aside, I really want to know how this locket ended up with Keigo's descendants rather than Ryojiro's. Other than sentimental value, is there any reason why the chains shouldn't have this locket? And since the locket can hold pictures, was there ever a photo in it back in the G5 era?
Well, not a photo, but I could imagine like a drawing.
Or like a little, like, keepsake of like a cloth or something in there too, or something.
Yeah, for sure.
No, that's interesting about how there's dragons engravings on it, and there's dragons with Ryuichi and.
Well, I think it's it stays with Ryojiro because it was Mayura's locket. So she's the one wearing it. So it stays in her side of the family.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like, I mean, I've gotten jewelry from exes before, and I don't think I've ever returned something.
Well, there you go.
I don't think.
No, it's yours. It's like, no reason. It's just
yeah.
It makes sense. It would be with her things, and then her brother will just take it from there. So I think that's just the plain and simple answer. It's because it belonged to Mayura, and then it got passed to her brother Ryojiro.
Moving on. Kiro-chan is back. I really liked his reunion with Sakura. I could see it so clearly in my head.
That scene was really cute.
I had fun with it. I felt a little bad for the police officers. I know that feeling of working on something so stressful and time-consuming only to be told it's no longer needed. I've been there as well.
Yeah.
Sakura stared in awe, for she never saw anyone swing a heavy watermelon so easily. This was hilarious and so relatable. I too would react that way. You have to love how Tomeo was able to manipulate Sakura and Shaoran into the contest. I was so giddy when Miho showed up. It's moments like these that make me think the real fun is about to start. Also, I think I might have squealed when Aki and Miho met. I love their dynamic. Honestly, I really like how much of a beach episode this chapter is, and yet it slightly goes against the beach episode concept since important things do happen. Looking at Miho and Kai specifically.
Is there even filler in New Trials? Like, I know she does her 0.5 chapters, but even at the end of the day, they're capturing cards and like making these emotional revelations.
Yeah, I can tell you I'm never skipping this special again in my entire life after reading the Great 5-1 and then even his birthday. And I was like, what the heck? Am I the only one who wants the characters to have another chapter like this before the series is over? Not to say that Sharon's eternal birthday isn't something like this, but we are missing characters in that never-ending party of it. I mean this in the best way possible with Chan. I'm dying.
Well, Wish Chan did say she wanted to leave us in fluffy limbo before things got dark, and she's true to her word. And when do you remember the Q&A? She said epilogues with an S.
She did epilogues.
So I think this is going to be our chance to have some fluff and closure with these characters that we love.
Oh man. I completely forgot Kai showed up in this chapter. The moment he showed up, I knew why. Anyway, I always love it when he shows up because he's such a fun character. Lastly, anyone else was shocked to learn our girl Eureka had such an appetite? Girl ate 5 hamburgers!
I think in fanfic land, you kind of like lose perceptive of like how much a person can eat on average, because 5 burgers, I can barely choke down 2. It's like
the only time when I was first diagnosed with Crohn's disease, I was put on really strong prednisone, which for those of you that do not know, it's like a strong steroid. And one of the side effects of prednisone is it just makes you ravenously hungry. Like, it's one of those medications where it's not uncommon for you to gain like 60 to 70 pounds while you're on that medicine. And I was first diagnosed with Crohn's, like I'm already super tall, and at the time I only weighed like 115 pounds. And my mom took me to McDonald's like a week after being on that medication, and I ate 3 Big Macs, a large fry, and a chocolate shake.
Wow.
So, our girl has a heart condition, maybe she's on prednisone.
Fanfic land where you can eat whatever you want and never gain a pound.
Man, I want to go there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the fantasy when it's like pink lemonade river and cupcakes on the trees.
Yes.
Okay, now we're going to conclude with Diana's comment on the podcast episode of Chapter 33, Finding You. Epic summers. I have so many. I would never stop writing LMAO. There was one summer I did a semester abroad in Italy. Oh, sounds divine.
Oh, so cool.
My best friend and I had a few classmates, and a few classmates went away for the weekend in Venice. The group split up, and my best friend and I decided to walk, since everything was expensive. Girl, I believe you. I've never been to Europe, but the only thing I know is that it's expensive.
Oh.
We got lost.
Oh, no.
We walked for hours under the burning sun, but we had fun and we got to talk to the locals with our very limited Italian. When that failed, Spanish came in handy.
I bet.
We discovered a lot about ourselves and Venice. If I could, I would go back to that day. Aww.
Super cool.
Okay, this is bold. Not me almost spilling water when I heard another quote-unquote Diana special.
Aw.
Thanks. Foreshadow. I caught on to Sharon's future job. I remember that before he works at La Sienne, he interviews the other places. One of those places is a fast food restaurant. Sharon's reward. I squealed at this. Too bad they never addressed the kiss during the chapter. Nor do they address the one in chapter 73. LMAO. And then, there's the fantasy one that only Mr. Sharon knows about. Oh my god. It's infuriating. It's like, we know they did it, so just talk about it. And then, in a later chapter, Sakura's gonna did that even happen? Did I imagine? So she's just gaslighting herself.
I swear there's a force out there called the communication. And it's keeping the communication away. Maybe that's the ultimate baddie.
Exactly. I'm preventing you from talking to each other.
And coupled with periodic amnesia.
That would
I say
explain
that
a
with
lot.
all the love wish.
LMAO at yeet out the window. I too have always wondered why they just didn't throw the trip through the window. But given that there were some people around and we needed Sakura and Sharon to meet up with the rest, I can see why jumping off a moving train would have been the best option, lol. Smiley face at Wolfie-chan. Why Erika wouldn't date Aki? I have to agree with Preya's rationale. I also think part of the reason why she wouldn't date, it might be because she doesn't know that Aki is supposed to be the one to inherit his family's business. I don't remember when we learned this in Arc 4, but Aki's older brother doesn't really care for the horses. I remember his job. I don't remember his job. Arima was supposed to be the one to continue with the family business, but she wanted to act. Aki stepped in and said he would give up journalism and obey his father's wishes, so long that he let Arima do what she wanted. So given what we learn about Erika in Arc 4 when she's dating Mike, she only dates guys who she thinks can help her get heart transplant / good health care. But it could also be that she knows Aki wouldn't want a long-term relationship with her. Yeah.
That's a very good deduction.
Yeah. It's like Erika is just so flighty when it comes to men, and I think her longest relationship was with Mike Kent, but I feel that the reason for that is that there's just so much long distance didn't really get to the point where it's like, yeah, this isn't working. Sakura's unlocked door. Like Preya, I never put those together. I always assumed Sakura misremembered and just forgot to close the door. It would make sense if it was Aaron who left it unlocked. Yeah, that was a fun theory to talk about. Lee Clan sword. I actually don't remember. I know it's mentioned in Arc 3, but I don't remember if Sharon has the real one and Malin took the fake one, or if it was backwards and then she brought the real one. There was a switcheroo. That's true, because Malin was there for Starcrossed. So she could have easily brought it with her.
Man, here I'm literally reading Arc 3 right now, and my brain is just like crickets right now. But I swear, like, it's, of course I'm reading it, but since I'm having to act out everything, it's kind of like my brain doesn't.
No, it's not going to register until, and you know that you and I are going to do a deep dive anyway. So
yes.
So first you do the work to record, and you're wearing all of those hats, and then you just listen to it a few times, let it absorb, and we follow along with my notes. It's like I know we're in hiatus mode, but I miss like recap. Like, you know, it's good. I'm missing. We're at the cusp. We're gonna get out of hiatus mode. We don't know when, but like, you know, one of these days. But I'm getting to the point where it's like, oh, I miss prepping for this.
It's funny though, sometimes I'll go to listen to the audiobook and I have no recollection of like recording that or doing that voice or whatever. It's like I just get possessed for like an hour or I record.
Thank you for sharing. I wish you a wonderful week. Okay. So with that is where we're going to end tonight. And so the next time we record, it's going to be just 100% best couple contest. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Well, you have been listening to New Trials the podcast, where it must rain for there to be a rainbow.
You've been listening to New Trials the podcast. Please be sure to check out the audiobook version of this fan fiction, where you can now listen to a completed Arc 1 and Arc 2 of the audiobook. And RIP my vocal cords, as I am currently recording Arc 3. And be sure to stick around next week, folks, where we finish the last of our Diana special.
Thank you, Diana. You're the best.
We love you. Besos. I remember being so hooked to this chapter because the amount of drama and lore was just so ingenious.
Bloopers!
Can I say that word? Ingenious?
Oh, so it's genius, ingenious.
Ingenious.
Yeah, ingenious. Yeah, ingenious. In 3 syllables, ingenious.
Ingenious. Okay.